Hi, welcome to Noteworthy by Gloria. I'm Gloria Baker, host of today's video, and I'll be constructing a vintage card and then showing you how to take it to the next level. You'll be needing the following supplies to reproduce this card. You'll need a couple of Fun Stampers Journey inks, 1 hazelnut blend, and 2 oatmeal cookie. You'll need a bottle of silver Shimmer Spritz, and a permanent adhesive tape runner. Some Fun Stampers Journey Silk in dark roast, and some washi tape or ribbon with some kind of a vintage feel. A bone folder, my favorite is Teflon, some thread or twine, and I'm using FSJ's natural number AC-0133. A stamp set, Beautiful Ride, number AT-0119, and a background stamp, Ink Splat, number AT-0108. You'll also need a variety of cardstock sizes, and I've got those listed above. The cardstock that I'm using is from Fun Stampers Journey, and it's 80-pound weight. I've got hazelnut blend and white. The card base that I'm using is 110-pound weight. It's from a pre-pack that I happen to have on hand, and it measures 5.5 by 4. It's just a little bit smaller than an A2 card. Fold it and crease it well with your bone folder. I recommend that you get a T-ruler if you don't have one. They're inexpensive and fabulous. I'm also using the hazelnut blend cardstock that I mentioned earlier. This is a 12 by 12 pack, and they also come in 8.5 by 11. I'm using my Misty and an acrylic stamp block. This one is from Stampabilities, and I like the horizontal and vertical lines that it has on it. And of course, your paper cutter. On page 81 of our catalog, you can see the stamp set that we're using today. And at the bottom of the page, you're also going to see 3 other examples of things that you can use making the same stamp set. I like the fact that Fun Stampers Journey puts a lot of product information in their catalog. Since we're making 2 cards today, I will be doing the process twice, only showing one on the screen. But I'm going to get the first panel and the background stamp it up with the oatmeal cookie ink really well. And then I'm going to start at random with putting this color down. Kind of tilting the ink pad just a little bit and eyeing it, and when I see an empty spot, I'm going to come in at different angles so that I can get a completely different look. I don't want it to be too regimented, and so I want it to be a little more at random. You'll see me coming in at all different angles, and sometimes just stamping up just the edge of the stamp pad to come in with just a few dots on the end. Kind of experiment, do what you like, and I think you'll be real happy with your results. I'm going to take my T-ruler and put it next to my base card. It's about 2 inches from the top, and take my washi tape and I can line it up right next to that T-ruler, and it can help me get it really straight without having to eyeball it. I kind of like things to be a little more precise when I can. I'm going to use my Misty and put the small embellishment panel inside and hold them down with a couple of magnets. Now you notice that my magnets are pink. I've covered them with pink washi tape, and that helps to where I can kind of move them around, and if they happen to get stuck together, I can pull them apart really easily, and that makes it really nice. With the Misty, I'm stamping the bicycle, and I got a really good clear image, but I wanted this hazelnut roast to be really dark. So I'm taking advantage of the Misty, and I'm stamping it several times to really make sure I get the color that I want. Now I'm going to do what I call the flicking technique. On this panel, I'm going to get the dark hazelnut blend, and I'm going to take the side of the cardstock and I'm going to kind of run the side of the ink pad against that edge. When you do that, you can hear that flick, 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 and I think that's where I got the name for the flicking technique. But it puts down just a little bit of ink on the edge, kind of antiques it a little bit, gives it some dimension and makes it stand out. You might need to practice a little bit to see how much of the ink you want to lay down. You can do a swiping motion, you can do kind of a flicking motion, but play with it a little bit. I really like this technique, and I think you will too. Look at the difference. Now I'm going to glue down the embellishment panel using some dry adhesive. I'm going to put it right about in the middle of that washi tape. Notice how the flicking technique really makes that panel stand out. It just jumps off the page, and I like the look. I think you will too. Now take that overall panel, and we're going to stick it on the hazelnut blend cardstock, and that really is going to make it pop. Now we're ready to glue this on our base card. I'm going to bring the MISTI back in again so I can stamp this sentiment on the front of the card. And again, I'm going to take my little pink magnets and put it down so that it doesn't move. And measure that up to see where I like it. You're going to notice that I'm closing that door pretty slowly, and that's because I'm actually lining it up against the grid lines on the door. Once I get it exactly where I want it, then I can ink it up really well and stamp it down, put a little bit of pressure on it, and sure enough, you're going to get a clear stamped image. Now it's time to do the sentiment on the inside of the card. Since this is a flat card and it doesn't have a lot of embellishments on the front, I can just go ahead and fold that front panel back and put it down into my MISTI using my magnets. Again, I'm lining up this sentiment, checking against the door to make sure that it's good and straight, and then I'm going to ink it up really well, and just in perfect MISTI style, I'm going to close that door, put a little pressure, and get a clear stamped image the first time. But if you don't get it the first time, the glory is ink it up again, it's in the same spot, stamp it over again. I love this tool. Now let's take it up to the next level. You remember when we did the flicking on the side of the embellishment piece? We're going to be doing the same thing on the front panel of our card. Just take that stamp pad and again swipe it on the edges, and this time it's a bigger card, so I'm going to put a little more ink on it, and I'm going to really flick it around there really good, going back over some spots more than once to make sure that I'm getting the right amount of ink in there. You can do it several different ways. Again, be sure and practice a little bit on this to be able to get the look that you want. Some people use an embellishment tool, but I really like the ink pad, the direct ink to paper effect that I get. It's a little bit darker and stronger image, and I like that really well. On our second card, I'm going to be using the acrylic stamp block by Stampabilities just to show you that if you don't have a MISTI, you can use your acrylic block and still get a good effect. I happen to like the MISTI. Just in case I don't get the clear image, it's in the same spot and I can stamp it again. Whereas if you use an acrylic block and you don't get a real clear stamp, most of the time we have a tendency to pitch the card because it's hard to really line it up exactly the way the original image was. Now I'm going to take this card and I'm going to again adhere it to the hazelnut blend card panel, and notice that flicking around the edges. It really gives that antique vintage look to this card, and I think it's just really striking. Now it's time for us to go ahead, just like we did on the first card, put the adhesive on the back and adhere that entire panel to the front of your base card. Now we're going to be using the Shimmer Spritz, and you're going to have to shake it up a lot to really get the silver mixed in. I'm taking it off the screen and giving it a few spritzes, about 1.5 feet above the card. And you can't see it on here, but boy, it really sparkles in person, and it really adds elegance to the card. Now I'm going to take the twine, and I'm going to wrap it about 3 times in the card, and I'm going to tie it off on this side. You could put a little bow on this, but I wanted this really to have just a little bit more of a masculine feel, so I just tied it in a knot, and I'm clipping off and trimming the edges. Now we're going to use the Fun Stamper's Journey Silk. You're going to shake it up to get the sparkle all mixed in, and then when you take it and just flick it with your finger, and little dots of this shimmery ink will splatter on your project. The closer you are to the project, the larger the splashes of ink. We have these in all different colors, and they're absolutely fun and add dimension to your projects with just a little flick of your finger. I hope you enjoyed our video today and that you found something that you can use in your card making. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss upcoming videos. Feel free to make any comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And stop by Fun Stamper's Journey /Gloria Baker for more information on purchasing product used in today's video. Thanks for stopping by, and have a good day crafting.